What is going on, everybody? It is the man of the house, Bright Knight, here at the Not Our Crib podcast. How's everybody been? I say that every time. Every time I say that. Every time. And no one's been telling me. So, we'll just start off. I want you guys to go to the comment section and tell me how you've been. And make sure you guys like this video. And make sure the like button is glowing when I say like this video. But without further ado, like I said, how's everybody been? You guys better respond. I can't be watching me and not responding. I'm trying to be cordial with y'all. This is the whole point of having a community, man. I'll let y'all in my house or this house because it ain't my crib. It's not our crib. It's somebody's crib. And we were kind enough to squat in here. So, you know, y'all my squatters. Y'all squatted with me in this new facility, this new house or whatever place we gonna be at. But it's been a minute. And I say that every time because it really has been a minute for me. Again, I had a little bit of a stoppage personally. I really hadn't put like enough ideas together to like come up with some topics, but I think that was kind of hindering me, more so worrying about like having a set of ideas when sometimes you just got to jump out there and just see where it takes you. And if I don't like it, you know, I'll go back to post editing. We'll add more to it, or throughout the week we'll just record different clips for it and then we'll just put them all together, which I might move towards doing that as well, so I can focus on one topic at a time and then compile them for one whole video. But we'll see how far we get with today in today's recording. But a little bit of a life update. You know, life has been great. I think I'm gonna add more life updates to make things a little bit more personable. Life has been great. I know Juneteenth was last month, but you know, we had a Juneteenth party with my family. Shout out to my cousin Bo for putting it together with us. It was really a family reunion with us, and you know, I can't wait to like have another one. I can't wait to see what we do moving forward. We're in a different stage of our life now where, you know, all the elders have passed on and they're the ones who are bringing all the family in. You know, we would all get together so they can see us, and as we grow and we talk to them and we learn more about each other. And I even heard a stat, I think, was it 30 to 47% of families, specifically colored families, black families, they haven't really come together for any family gatherings. They're down like 37% or like 47% after a lot of our elders have passed, and they're not really keeping connection because that was really the connection. But now we're in a new age, you know, because I remember being a kid going to all the family gatherings. It was like we had gatherings, probably once a month, honestly, or like at least you know, every other month. And now things are a lot different. Now we're getting older. Now we're getting into the spaces, or now we're getting into the responsibilities of holding these events. Now we have to come together and organize them. We got to be the ones to make sure everyone show up on time, because as a kid, my mom got there early, so I was sitting there for the first 2.5 hours, which really felt like, well, it really wasn't even 2.5 hours. It was probably 45 minutes, but it felt like 2-3 hours of just sitting there waiting for my favorite cousins to come through, and then we can actually have fun. Before my mom told me I had to go sit down next to her because she didn't want me getting hurt. Yeah, them early days of me as a kid, bro, were just treacherous with family gatherings. I was not allowed to even hang with my own cousins, just because the fear of me getting hurt. And I was not a fan of it. But over time, you know, I allowed myself to hang out, or she allowed me to hang out more with the cousins and everything. And I wanted to be able to go on those walks. I had no idea what those walks were, but they would go out and then I wouldn't see them for the next like 15 minutes and then come back. But now those walks are just normal, and now I know about the walks and everything. So it's all about changing the family dynamic. Because, you know, we're getting up there in age. Like I said before, I'm 24 years old. So now me and my cousin, we're working on having like the men in our family get together every second to last Saturday of every month. And we started off with bowling, and then this month we're going to be doing bowling again. And then if we want to try something else, we'll probably go ahead and try like go-karting or laser tag. But mainly bowling. We'll have like a spot where y'all just, you know, meet together and we'll play and just get together and just talk. And that's really the important thing, is just keeping the foundation of a family. Like that's something I always talk about. I know not everybody has the greatest family. Our family's not perfect, but it's a lot better than what I've heard from a lot of other people's family members. So I'm very thankful for all that. I'm also re-enrolling in school. I haven't said it already. I've re-enrolled in school for the optics program, and I'm also doing algebra so I can re-up on all my math. And it's been day 2 of me doing algebra. I'm glad I'm taking it back. I'm glad I'm relearning this. But man, algebra is getting on my nerves. If I had a rant on like my Instagram where I was talking about fractions and negative fractions and how negative fractions shouldn't even be something that's real. I know it's going to sound really stupid for all my mathematicians and teachers out there, but like, what's the point of a negative fraction? You can't have a negative piece of pie. Wouldn't that just be more pie? And wouldn't that just be like I can understand if I had 5/4 of a pie because you just throw another piece on. But how do you have negative 5/4 or negative 5/4? Like, what's like? Oh my goodness! But it doesn't make sense for that reason. But my homie Jack, shout out to my homie Jack, he came through and he had said that you won't ever see negative fractions unless you're like doing things with like temperature. So I'm gonna take his word for it. Those were negative fractions do apply. But other than that, relearning math, and now that I'm in a more mature mindset, I'm starting to value math a lot more. And then when I learn how to get through all the steps of a lot of complicated problems, it becomes more fulfilling than me just trying to get it done or me just trying to cheese my way. Like, I'm not trying to utilize ChatGPT. Or speaking of, we're gonna be using ChatGPT a lot more going forward through the podcast. I gotta utilize its power the best of my ability, more so getting like quick information for topics, more so for definitions, defining, and what else we can grab. Like, not to ask like opinions or anything, but more like giving out like more points. Or if I'm struggling to find like an extra point for the podcast, I'll just go in or reach in there. Or if I'm just like sum up what happened in this court case, just get that and just read from there. Not for it to be fact, but just to give out just general information from what it's going to be able to tell me. So it's not going to be the end all be all. It's not going to be like my Jarvis for anything else other than just giving me blanket information. So that's really what I'm looking forward to out of ChatGPT, or that's what I plan on utilizing a lot of ChatGPT for. Not to cheese my way through the work, because I need to know this stuff as well. Because if you're going to be an optical engineer, you need to know how to do calculus, and I've never taken calculus. So we'll see how the jump from algebra to calculus is going to be, and you're definitely going to hear it, most definitely. What Arnold Schwartz said, he said the day you stop learning is the day you start dying. So we'll just keep learning. The more you learn, the longer you have, or more longevity you have on this planet. And I've been also working on eating better, so that way physically I can feel better, and mentally we want to learn a new skill. Because they say you learn new things every day. Make sure you are learning new things every day, because that's just an expression, but you really want to learn something brand new, and you want to keep it there and not just like have it for a little bit and not worry about it later. Aside from the academic part of school, while I was re-institutionalizing myself, can I even utilize that properly? While I was enlisting myself, do I even want to say enlisting? While I was enrolling myself into school, I started getting a few key core memories of school about how some of my friends would say, like, I'm always just like against authority and everything like that. And they're not wrong. But there was a reason for it. And as I got older and I started to think more and more and more for myself, that's when I started to look against authority. Not intentionally, but there were certain things where when I started to like focus a little bit more and break it down and not take their word for it, I realized that there was a lot of things that just didn't make any sense, or that was just straight up stupid. So we'll go through my life, like key points of my life through school. So we'll start off with elementary school. When I was in elementary school, I forgot exactly what grade. I think I might have been in like third grade. I think I might have been third and fourth grade at the time, right? And we had a disciplinarian guy. What do they call? Are they just known as disciplinarian? Disciplinarian. I'll never forget his name. His name was Mr. Boyd. I don't know where this dude came from, but apparently he was like I don't know, he was like a champion for step or something like that back in his heyday, whatever. But he was a disciplinarian at our school. And he was there for the year, and I think he either found a new job or they let him go because he was mean. And he was mean for no reason, bro. Well, I won't say no reason. He needed to keep the kids in check, but like, we're not even 12 years old. Like, many of us are like between the ages of 6 to 11 years old. So like, what's the worst we could have been? We weren't even terrible kids. We were just very talkative kids. So during lunch periods, when we would talk way too much or we would act out, we would have silent lunches down in the cafeteria. And around this time, we're having another one of those silent lunches. So it's me and my homie Abdul. Shout out to my homie Abdul. I wonder where you at today. But me and my homie Abdul, we're sitting at the lunch table and we're supposed to be quiet. And I was quiet the whole time. Like, I typically didn't get in trouble. So if I'm going to talk, I'm going to talk really, 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 really low. And I'm going to keep lookout for Mr. Boy because I ain't trying to get caught. So Abdul pulls out his comic book and he's reading to me and everything. And I'm looking at him and he's talking. And he's clearly talking. It's not like we were both talking. He was just talking. And he's just like telling me everything that's going on in the comic book. And then I look up and I see Mr. Boy just walking. He just walking over to us, and he's like already tilting down because he's like towering over us. He's probably like, how tall is he? He was probably like maybe like, I don't know, 6'2" or something like that. So he's towering over us, and so he's walking over to the table, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like tapping on him, and I'm tapping him, hey yo, and I'm like nudging Abdul. I'm like, yo. I'm like, yo, Mr. Boy coming. So Abdul stops talking. He looks up and he's like, oh, and he closes his book and looks up and acts like nothing ever happened. Mr. Boy looks right at me and he says, come here. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. I said, yes, you did. Come here. So I get up, I walk, and he tells me, he calls me out and everything and say, you have lunch detention, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you got to go upstairs and everything. And he's like, I'm going to call your parents and all that stuff. I need you to stay right here. I'm going to go grab some other students that I saw talking. And as a kid, like, you want to be a goody two shoes, you know what I mean? Like, you want to stay out of trouble. You don't want your mom here. You don't want your dad hearing about it. You don't want to have to deal with that when you get home. So as a kid, of course, naturally, I'm going to start crying. Like, yo, I was in tears because the thing that made me mad wasn't even that I got caught or that I got in trouble. It was that I got in trouble for what clearly was, like, he saw Abdul talking. It's not like I'm looking up. Abdul's like this, looking into his book, and you can just see this man speaking. He's talking. He's the only one talking, and I'm just telling him to be quiet. And I got in trouble. I'm the one who got in trouble. You know how many words I had to write? I will not talk in the lunchroom again. I will not. I had to write that, what 50 something times? I had to write that probably anywhere between 25 to 75 times. I think it was like 150. I don't even know how many. I had to write it a lot. And as a kid, even if I had to write 25 times, that was going to be annoying. But I had to write it like page after page after page. I don't even think he gave me a word count. I think he said a page count. I need you to fill up 4 pages of this or something like that. From the top line to the bottom line, you need to write that you won't do this again overnight, or you're going to get lunch detention. And I'm just like crying and I'm bawling my eyes out, man. I'm just like, man, whatever, man. Like, and I think it was because of like we had the no tolerance policy. I think they got rid of that now. That's probably why these kids are even badder now or something like. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's because we had the no tolerance policy or however things went, and we didn't know about it until I got to high school because that's when they finally started getting ready to retire it. And I think another time I got in trouble in elementary school. It's not that I didn't do it, but we had the superintendent filling in for our principal. And the kids on the bus were loud, so the bus driver told the superintendent that these kids were loud, they were disrespectful, they were standing up. So he got on there, and he was like, if any one of you kids disobey the orders, you get up again, you're going to have to see me in the office. So I'm like, all right, cool. So he gets off the bus, and our bus is packed, so I'm sitting with a few other people. So I'm watching him walk away and I can't see him. So I like slightly stand up and look over to see if he even left. And he saw me stand up. He turned around, ran back on the bus, and he's like, you, I need you to come here right now. And I'm sitting here like, what did I do? He's like, no, you come here right now. And I got in trouble again. Got a phone call home, sitting there crying in the office. And I probably had to write another 200 or 100 and something words. I will not disobey, blah, 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 the superintendent or whatever again. And I'm just like, bruh. What was crazy was when I got off the bus, everybody stood up and was just looking at me leave. I'm like, yo, so you not going to grab everybody else? You don't see these people just watching me getting taken off the bus? You're not going to do like, yo, I don't know what, as a kid, I didn't know what it was about me because I wasn't a bad kid. So I didn't understand why I was getting in trouble, or I was like given no like grace. And it's not even about giving grace. I don't even know why I was treated like I was a criminal, man. I would like, what? Fast forward to middle school. This is my first year, 7th grade. I'm 11, 12 years old at the time. It's like what, our first week of school. So we have art class, and I don't really know anybody in my class like that. So we're in art, I just made like a friend at the time, and we sat next to each other in the art classroom. Our first assignment from the teacher was we would have to write our name creatively that best express ourselves. So I wrote my name. It really wasn't that much of like that's all we really had to do. There really wasn't much that we had going on. And we get done, and I think either she said we weren't allowed to talk unless our work was finished, or everybody was talking too loud. I don't even know if everybody was talking. We barely knew each other, so it really couldn't have been that. But there wasn't really anything keeping us from chit chatting. At least, like, that's what I assumed, because everybody was talking. And since the people behind me, shout out to my homie AJ, but at the time I didn't know who he was. So he's talking to my homie Billy, which I didn't know who he was at the time. So shout out to my boy Billy. So they're talking because they know each other, and then everybody's interested in their conversation, so they're just looking over there. So I turn around, and I'm wondering, like, what are you talking about? Because I'm interested. And so the next thing you know, I keep hearing, I need you to turn around and get back to work. I need you to turn around and not stop looking at him and focus on what you got to do. And I had no idea what she was talking about because my work is done. I done already wrote my name and everything. That's the only thing you gave us to do. It's like the first week of school. We don't got nothing else to worry about. We don't got no homework. We got nothing. So she was like, excuse me, you in the front. So I'm thinking it's my homie next to me. So I look over at him, and he look at me like, she ain't talking to me. So I look at her. She's like, yeah, you, like I said, I don't want you looking at him. I need you to pay attention and do what you got to do. I'm like, I'm finished. And she was like, okay, good. So stay looking in the front. Don't be worried about what he got going on. And I look, and he looked confused. Like, AJ looked confused. Like, why is she talking to him like that? So then I look at the rest of the classroom. They look confused because they like, why is he getting pointed out like that? And they don't know me, so no one's sticking up for me. And they don't got to. They don't got to do that. Like, this is our first week. And I'm just sitting here like, bruh. So I sit and I face the class, so I didn't get a detention within the first week, because that's immediately what she threatened me with. Threatened me with getting a detention. So I sat there and was just like, bruh, listening to everybody else talk for the rest of the class. Then class ended and we just got moved on to the next. And I don't think we had an art teacher for the rest of that year. Our school, like, that school was not it, because she was not only the art teacher, but she was also the secretary. So she was like part-time for both. And then eventually after the first week, she was gone. She wasn't doing either, so we had got a new secretary. I'm glad she was gone, because she tried to give me detention on the first week of school. Like, I didn't do anything. It was these moments that really irked my nerves, that really had me thinking that I had ran over somebody's dog or something. It just really like threw me for a loop. And then this next story, this was in high school. I had like 2 more in high school. What was it, my sophomore year of school? So we had study hall. But in study hall, you had to be quiet, or at least that was like the rule, unless you're like talking about work or something like that. But I don't know if that was like the school rule or just the lady who was watching, because we had a monitor for our study hall. So, I don't remember this lady name. I'm going to just call her Miss F. Because, fuck. Miss F, she comes in, she lays down the law. And she says, this study hall is meant to be quiet. You're only allowed to talk if you're talking about your work. Stay seated. Do not get up and walk around unless you have to throw anything away. Cool. Everybody had to be spread out too. Nobody could be sitting, because we were in the lunchroom, so everybody had to be spread out. You couldn't be next to somebody unless you're doing work, because she didn't want nobody talking. So I'm like, all right. So I just pull out my notebook. Like, it's sophomore year. Like, it's like, what, the first few weeks of school already. I'm not worried about nothing. I'm just sitting in study hall. I ain't got nothing else to do. I don't even know most of these people. So I just start jotting down whatever, or looking at my homework, just pretending I got something to do. And my homie Delshawn comes into the study hall, and he's walking around, and she says, excuse me, you need to sit down, and you cannot be talking. And he's like, oh, don't worry, miss. I'm going to sit down in a minute. And he's like, yo, what's good, Brian? I was like, what's up, man? You know what I'm saying? I just, shout out the hi, whatever. And she's like, excuse me, I need you to sit down. You cannot be talking. He's like, miss, I'm going to sit down. Just give me a minute. I want to find my seat. And she's like, all right, whatever. So next thing you know, someone comes up and asks me a question because they need help. So I start talking to him, and then she's like, you heard the rules. I said you're not allowed to talk unless you're helping somebody. And I was like, that's exactly what we're doing. And she's like, okay, I'm making sure. And my homie Delshawn still hadn't taken a seat. He done got back up, walked around, and she's like, what did I say to you earlier? Didn't I say to sit down? He's like, but miss, I'm going to sit down. Don't worry about it. Like, you don't want to get detention, do you? And he would just say, miss, if you got to give me detention, you got to do all this paperwork. You ain't got to do it. And then he would walk all the way up to her seat, and he just was leaning over, just talking to her. And then she just had such a nice voice talking to him. And she's like, I need you to sit down, okay? And I'm just like, bro, what is going on? What is going on? She was so ready to throw fire at me, and she just giving him leeway. And the thing about my homie Deshaun, like, he's not even a bad kid. Like, he got like fights or whatever. He was just one of them people who just like show up to class when he felt like showing up to class, because he was intelligent. He's smart as hell. Like, he never did homework, but he passed all his exams, and they thought he was cheating. And then he would just do the work. Like, the work was easy for him. It didn't do nothing. But I think the reason why students like him had got passes. Oh, and I'm gonna tell another story too right after this. But why they got passes for that stuff? Because I don't get why. I didn't get why teachers and staff had such like love for the bad kids, not the terrible kids who were getting into fights or whatever and causing ruckus. Just the kids who just didn't listen, the hard-headed kids. Because my now that I'm older, my rationale is that when it comes to more, like, this is gonna be a crazy analysis. Like, I'm probably about to overanalyze this right now. But when it comes to female teachers, when they have a young man who is considered bad, or a bad boy young man in their classroom, they give them more leeway, probably because this is the only time they can actually tame a bad boy. Hey, you heard these stories about teachers, and you know what I'm saying, before. So don't come for me and say I'm over exaggerating or I'm over analyzing it. I'm just putting out my thesis, my hypothesis. So that was like how I rationalized it, because I'm like, this is like our first week and she already like just in love with this kid. Like, man got so much leeway. Everybody else had to follow the rules and he gets to break them and do whatever the hell he want to do, and it just wasn't cool. Like, in my freshman year, I had beef with my teacher because we're in Spanish class, so I had beef with her because the kid who sat in front of me, he knows who he is. You know who you are. The kid who was sitting in front of me, he wouldn't give me my work. Now, we were cool at the time, or I want to say like we're not cool anymore, but we were cool. Like, you know, we were like friends or whatever. But he wouldn't give me my work. And he would like take it, like we had pass it around, and then he would just take the paper that's supposed to go to me, get up, give it to the dude behind me, and then just sit down. And I'm just like, all right, so you're not gonna give me my work. So I just sit there, and the teacher was like, Brighton, you need to do your work. And I'm like, I didn't get my work. She's like, how? I passed it out to everybody. I was like, well, he didn't give me my work. She's like, why don't you ask him for it? And I did. He purposely didn't give me my work. So she'll be like, Shay, give him his work. He'll just look down. And then he's like, I guess so. And I give it a work and I'd do it. And then he would do it every other time we were in class. So then she's getting mad at me. She's like, why aren't you doing your work? And I tell her again, he still never gave me my work yet. Well, she's like, why don't you get up and move? I'm like, why would I get up and move if he's the one not giving me my work? He's the one impeding on my success, and you want me to get up and move to another seat? You're not going to move him to another seat? And this is why we had beef, because I called it out. And I was trying not to crash out, but crash out at the same time. So I'm like, yo, this is some bullshit. Like, yo, you gonna let this man keep me from doing my work and then tell me to move? Like, this is not your classroom? And so this is how we had beef going back and forth, and why she never liked me she never liked me. Like, she had strong favoritism, and she did not like me because of that. And it's just like, and she still liked him despite the fact he kept me from doing my work. I low-key think she sabotaged my test. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm being 100% for real. I low-key think she sabotaged my state test, because I did all my work in class. Because even after that, I still moved seats. I moved seats after. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna move seats. And I was able to do my work, and I turned my work in. And then eventually he stopped doing it, so I went back to my normal seat, and I just did my work as normal. I even showed up to after classes if I was missing work. And I still did my test. And for some reason, I didn't pass. So I had to retake it the next year. That class, that's the only class I ever had to retake, and I had to take it the next year because I didn't take it over summer, because I was about to take a summer school for that class. So I had to retake it. That's on me though. But I had to retake it, and I was like, man, she don't like me, bro. Like, she probably sabotaged my test. I got no proof of it, but I'm like, if I turn in all my work and my grades aren't up to par, and I ended up having to, and then when I repeat the class, I did amazing in the class because I already took the class. So these were the reasons why I had such a problem with certain authority in school. Oh, another story just popped in my head. This one was just, I mean, you could apply this to life. But there was this girl and we had like the last two classes together. I forgot exactly how. I think we was probably like talking junk the entire class or whatever. And while we were walking out the door, she was talking about something. She was gonna hit me going out the door. I was like, "You're not gonna hit me, bro." So she holding the door open, and she's like, "Yeah, go out the door." I was like, "I'm not going out there. Like you talking about something hit me, right? You not about to hit me." So I get ready to walk out the door. She tried to swing on me. I back up. I square up. I'm like, nah, you ain't about to put your hands on me. You're not about to put your hands on me. So then she was like, "Oh, he hit me. He hit me." And the teacher was like, "What?" I was like, I looked at him. I was like, "You really think I'll put my hands on her?" He's like, "I hope not." And I'm like, "I didn't." And I was like, "All right, cool." She knew that junk didn't work because teacher, that was one of the few teachers. Shout out to my boy, Mr. Ippolito. He was one of the few teachers that actually was mad cool with me, even though like he actually gave me leeway for being a good student. Shout out to my homie. But we go to the next class, and she figured, you know what? It didn't work the first time, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try it again. So she just goes straight and tell the teacher, "Yeah, last class Brighton put his hands on me." And she looked at me and she was like, "What? Brighton, get out of my classroom now." I'm like, "What are you talking about? What did I do? You don't put your hands on women." I said, "I didn't. I never put my hands on her." She tried to put her hands on me, and I squared up to defend myself. And she's like, "You know what? I want both of you out of my classroom." And I'm like, like the class just started. Where the bell had just rang, and I'm getting kicked out of class because she wanted to say I put my hands on her. So we go to the disciplinarian, and we had to write a report, and I wrote what happened. She wrote her story. He comes out. He's like, "I'm not gonna give either of you detention. I read both of your statements. It's not adding up, but neither of you are completely innocent. But you guys, if the teacher's not gonna allow you back in the classroom, just sit here until the rest of the period." Shout out to him because he was cool about it, and he honestly didn't care. You know, this was like the last few weeks of school, so he didn't care. He didn't care, and she told me right after he had walked out, she was like, "I really don't care about the situation. I just want to see if I can get you in trouble." I don't get it, bro. I don't get it, bro. This past week or the last 2 weeks or whatever, I went to the movies. You know, typically I go to the movies by myself if I got nowhere to go with me, but I enjoy going to the movies and just getting the full experience. I'm not gonna like not go or miss out just because nobody else wants to respond. I'm gonna go see what I want to see, and I get more of like an enjoyment out of it. I know like one of the biggest allures or the best thing about going to the movies is with people, so you can discuss what you guys seen after. But with me, I get to have my own internal conversations with myself, like I'm crazy or I'm off my medications. But these past two movies that actually three movies. These past three movies that I saw were How to Train Your Dragon, F1, and now Superman, and I can't wait to talk about them. So first, How to Train Your Dragon, or you can also call How to Make a Remake, was an amazing film. And going in, haven't have seen the original movie since I was like in third grade. I don't remember much, but I was ready to see a one-to-one remake of this film, and I'm glad there was nothing changed aside from a few castings. But again, I couldn't wait to see it. And once I got in and I started watching the film, it just like all came back to what I remember as a kid. Certain things that I knew were coming up, or things that I laughed at that I can remember myself finding funny as a kid, is what made the experience so amazing. And when it comes to making a remake, Disney, I'm gonna need you guys to take some notes. This is a proper remake done well. You don't add anything new, you don't remix anything, you don't get rid of characters that were supposed to be in the film in the first place, and you don't try to make it more believable or more relatable or whatever they're trying to go for when they go in and they change things in movies. That's part of the reason why I didn't watch Lilo and Stitch, because I'm like, how are you gonna have like the main villain removed from the movie for a remake? Like, what's the purpose of making it a remake? You know what I mean? So I really enjoyed it. I just felt like this was what we needed. And if DreamWorks is going on a whole run with their remakes now and going after Disney, I can't wait to see what they do with a Madagascar film. And a Back to the Barnyard film. Oh man, I would love to see that. Nothing too crazy. It don't gotta be live action. Maybe just updated graphics. A remake, but like updated. So something that's more like what's the higher resolution for animation, a lot more like closer to real, but not real like how it is in like the Lion King and the Mufasa movie. That's one of the reasons why I didn't like Lion King. Well, not even watch Lion King. Why I didn't like Mufasa. Well, I did like the movie. Don't get me wrong. I did like it. I would have enjoyed it more if they were more animated, like how they were in the original cartoon of the original film of Lion King. But I would love to see that. I want to experience my childhood all over again, and I hope the Shrek 5 movie, because I have to go back and watch Shrek 1, 2, 3. I don't even remember there was a Shrek 4. I got to go back and watch the Shrek's movies again. Puss in Boots 1, the new Puss in Boots, which I was going to watch the original before I watched the other one, which I don't even know if they're that related, but I still wanted to. And I can't wait to see what more they do at DreamWorks, because if they do a How to Train Your Dragon 2, I would love to see that. I never even watched the sequel movies to that. Well, I think I might have watched the sequel movie to How to Train Your Dragon 2. I'm not entirely sure. But I remember watching that, watching the original film, though. So if we can get a remake series of this, I would enjoy it. Just keep it 1-to-1, and we shouldn't have any problems. Aside from that, I watched F1, and I gotta say, I love it way better than Gran Turismo. And it was this like an Apple TV film, so Apple TV, you did amazing with this one. And it's actually my second Apple TV film that I watched. The first one was Emancipation, and I thought that was a great film. But F1, I want to be an F1 driver now. This is how you make a racing movie, Fast and Furious. So I'm throwing shade on Disney, I'm throwing shade on Fast and Furious. This is how you make a racing film. It's all about the cars. It's all about the stakes. It's all about the competition. It's not about no secret agents fighting against the world. I get, like, my favorite Fast and Furious is Too Fast, Too Furious. It was all about street racing, had a little bit of law involved and a little bit of like shady deals behind the scenes, but you left it at that. You weren't government agents using supercars and muscle cars fighting crime or fighting international, what do you call them? International supervillains. No, this is all about racing. This is what F1 is. I got to see what it's like being an F1 driver. The races were real. Many of what goes on made me really think, like, and I'm not trying to spoil the movie, but it made me really think, like, dang, this is a sports film, and like some of like the like villains in this film for what's going on is like, it makes sense. Like, it makes sense why they're doing what they're doing. It's all about getting some money out of it. So it's not. It's like they're betting against some. Okay, a little bit of a spoiler, but they're kind of betting against themselves, or somebody's betting against their own person or their everybody else's personal interest for their own financial gain. So like that you can relate that to all sports. I could tell when other sports organizations, they start to make moves that don't make sense to the general public and then try to give some weak reasoning, like, you know, Nico Harrison, oh wait, don't ban me from whatever. I'm probably never gonna go and watch a Mavericks game anyway. Actually, I'm lying because Kyrie's there. So good luck banning me, because I'll still be there. Maybe. I don't know. But, you know, I thought about it, and I think I'm going to become an F1 driver. I think I want to be an F1 driver. I think I want to have my own story. I think I can do it. I can drive better than a lot of people in this city. I don't drive extremely fast. I do go above the speed limit, like maybe 1 to 10 miles over the speed limit, allegedly, in GTA. But watching how fast these guys are driving, hitting those crazy turns, having to like build a car so it can be the most aerodynamic, how they go about stopping their opponents other than just being faster than them, making it a little bit inconvenient. Like, those tactics and plays, I love seeing that, because I didn't know. I thought it was just straight racing, and if someone got in your way, they got in your way. But this was like, showed a lot of real strategy, and then it's always like, it showed it being very sleek on the inside when they're going to their like what do you call those meetings? Not meetings, but they're like boardroom meetings. But it's another word that they have for it when they're going over like game film footage. They're going over the stats. They're going over. They're reviewing their speed and time in cars, and they're like all within a tenth of a second of each other or a second of each other. And it's like one of those things where it's just like so interesting to really think about how much they put into a sport that doesn't require much of your body other than to operate the vehicle, and just interested me more. Like, I would love if we had like an F1 for planes, because the way they made watching the cars drive maybe wish like, yo, what if we had a aerial F1, something like that. I know it's a crazy idea, but that's something I would be really, really interested into seeing in the future. And the last movie I saw, and my favorite movie so far, is most definitely Superman. Superman this year is what, the second, I believe, the second superhero movie of 2025. I might be wrong on that, but it's my favorite so far. And next week we're gonna get, or is it this week? No, it's next week. And next week we're gonna get Fantastic Four, so I can't wait to see that. But Superman, this is the first Superman film I've ever watched. Now, as a kid, you know, there's been like the old OG Superman films, and I barely remember any of them. But I never watched Man of Steel either. But this film was amazing. I loved it. It felt like I was looking at the character straight out of the comic book. David Cornsweet played amazing as a Superman. I like him more than Henry Cavill. And it's not even because Henry Cavill's a bad actor. It's not even Henry Cavill's fault. But the way he's portrayed in the movies, he's just more happy. He's very go-lucky. He's optimistic. He's inspiring. He's very hopeful, and even a little naive. So, and someone like me who used to be like that and have grown up because we're not living in a comic book, and then we remember the reality of the world. A character like Superman kind of brings you back down to that, to being very hopeful and inspiring, and stop being so gritty and dark and demeaning and mean and rude, and just kind of being pessimistic. Like, having that optimism and hope for the future is what I liked about him. And even though he has like all the power in the world currently, he can still get pieced up and beat and exploited and outsmarted. And that's another thing that I loved about him. Now, I did love Lex Luthor, but he is a generational hater. I'm not trying to spoil too much of this movie, but there might be some spoilers at this point. If you don't want to get spoiled, you know what I'm saying? I'm probably going to talk for the next 5 minutes, so skip 5 minutes ahead. Alright? Cool. Lex Luthor. D1, I can't even say he's above D1. He was a professional hater at its best. And I'm mad that I can't say to him, stop hating and get some money, because this man's a billionaire and he's a genius. So it's like, you can't even insult him for being a hater. Because he'll just be like, yes, I don't like the fact that I'm the smartest man on the planet and everybody looks up to you. I don't like the fact that I'm the smartest man in history and they compare me to lesser philosophers. But, you know, focusing on like Galileo and his contributions to like science and physics, and having like the telescope being able to look upon the stars, which I don't want to spoil the movie, but which is an indication of what happens in the movie and what is next to come in the next movie coming after this Superman film, which I loved. The Justice Gang, I like that a little bit better than the Justice Society or the Justice League. With the Justice Gang, they were awesome in this film. I thought Guy Gardner and Nathan Fillion, you know, I'm an Uncharted fan, so, you know, I'm very familiar with him. He did an amazing job, was a dickhead, was hilarious. I was not really a big fan of his suit. Everybody else's suit, like Hawk Girls and Mr. Terrifics, I know it's the same suit but in different colors, but they felt more like Power Rangers to me. And I get that they're sponsored by Maxwell Lord, and that's his team of superheroes. But, you know, Guy Gardner should have had a little bit of, maybe it'll change later, but, you know, having that dark green with the Green Lantern logo on it, I thought would have been really cool. But Mr. Terrific was terrific in this film as well, and I just appreciated how he was portrayed well. Now, I'm not deep into super deep into comics. I'm not super deep into comic book lore to know characters like Mr. Terrific very well, but from what I did hear, he's one of the smartest men on the planet, and he had no superpowers, but because of his intelligence, it might as well be a superpower. Being super smart, it might as well be a superpower in and of itself. I still don't like the T-mask. I think it's one of the worst masks ever, but in the movies they made it look okay, but I'm just not a fan of this damn T-mask. Like, I would rather he wear a full face mask, or at least that covers this part, and then like lets his hair out, and then it's just a all black tee cut out with like the rest being like darker gray or like a lighter gray or like red or whatever you want to call it. I'm just not a fan of this. I'm not. His jacket, awesome. I want that jacket, but without it being so tight, because it looks really tight. That was a great thing about the movie, how the Justice Gang was portrayed. Because if you guys ever watched Black Adam, I wanted a series of the Justice Society in that movie. I thought Hawkman was amazing. We got the the Hawkman that's from outer space, like the Thanagarian Hawkman one, where he had like nth metal. And I thought that was awesome. I wanted to see more about Dr. Fate. I wanted to see the relationship that Hawkman and the Atom Smasher would have created. If we could have got a show out of that. And I thought, what was her name? Cyclone. I thought Cyclone was pretty cool as well because I never knew about the character. So they brought her in there, and I was just like, oh, I want to know more about her powers and abilities too. So, but unfortunately, we didn't get that. But the Justice Gang, next best thing. So I can't really complain. You know that things just end up happening. I live like in a slapstick comedy, a sitcom or something, right? I had another one of my famous episodes just being out, and this is why sometimes I just don't go out because I end up in something I don't even intend to end up in. So let me tell you guys a story. So this past weekend, me and the homies, we go out, and I ended up running into my homie Shay. Shout out to my homie Shay. He just needed a way back to the crib, so I was gonna help him out. But before we could ride out, he wanted to introduce me to one of his friends. Now, I'm not going to say her actual name, but at the time I didn't know what her name was. So we're going to give her a nickname. We're going to call her Sam. How about that? We'll call her Sam. So he gets a call from one of his friends that needs a little bit of help, so he walks off to go find them. Sam didn't like that very much and was just wondering where he was because she didn't get to see him all night. And I'm like, that's not my problem. All I'm really worried about is making sure the homie get home safe. She's wondering where he went. And because her phone was off at the time, she asked me to call him. So I took my phone out and I called him and he didn't answer. So she asked me to call him again. So I was like, all right, whatever. So I decided to call him again, but this time she wants it to be on speaker. So I put it on speaker. It rang. He didn't answer. So I get ready to put my phone away. She grabs my hand. She's like, no, call him again. Hits my phone and calls him again. He doesn't answer. So I'm like, all right, cool. Took my phone again. She's like, no, call him again. I'm like, wow. And this time she took the phone out of my hand. So I'm just like, there's no way this woman just took my phone out of my hand. Like, what's going on? Doesn't answer. Calls again. Doesn't answer. Calls again. Doesn't answer. I grab my phone and she's like, hold on. I was like, no, give me back my phone. Because you wilding right now. You done called this man like 8 times and he hasn't answered. We're going to catch up with him. He has no way back other than me because he asked me to. So I'm not really worried about if he answers the phone right away. But eventually she goes off because she's complaining about how she came all this way out here to see him. He's all over the place. She didn't see him all night and now he's gone trying to help somebody else out. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm sorry. I guess, you know what I'm saying? It must suck to suck. I don't get it. Not my problem. But I'm just chilling because we're just hanging out and we just want to just enjoy the vibe. So after a while, he calls me back. So I go ahead and I answer the phone. Put it to my ear and she grabs my hand this time and puts the phone down and hits speaker and then puts it back towards my ear. Like, what are you doing? Like she's over here trying to control me. Like, what's going on now? So I'm like, yo, bro, what's good? And she's in the background like, yeah, just keep talking. Yeah, just keep talking to him. Just keep talking to him. And I'm just like, why is she acting funky right now? Like, what's good with her? So I'm saying like, yeah, yo, where you at, bro? I'm ready to like go. I'm ready to get up out of here. He's like, I'm out somewhere, but hold on, bro. I gotta call you back. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I hang up and I'm just like, oh, here we go with him and his shenanigans, right? She's like, call him back. I'm like, he just said he can't, like he's a little busy right now. So she takes my phone and calls him again. Doesn't answer. She takes it, calls it again. She calls it again. And she calls it again. And he still does not answer. And I'm like, yo, all right, I can have my phone back. Took my phone back. Put it in my pocket. And I'm just like, after 5 minutes passes, I'm ready to walk again. So I'm going off. My arthritis is kicking in. Thank y'all for that. You know what I'm saying? Thank my family for giving me arthritis. I start walking off. And she's following me and she's looking for him. It's like, okay, we're going to look for him. We're going to look for him in this parking lot. You look left and I look right. I just pointed right. It's going to, okay, actually I did it right because, you know, you guys are going to be seeing it's going to be reflecting, you know what I mean? So when I point right, it's really left. And when I point left, it's really right. You know what I mean? Don't judge me. Shut up. Anyways, so we still don't see him. And I'm just like, whatever. Eventually he calls me again and he's like, yo, I need you to go down to Dreamtown. Go to Dreamtown. I don't know what Dreamtown is, and I'm a little irritated. My arthritis is killing me. It's late now. She done literally took my phone out my hand twice. And I'm ready to just take this man back to his place so I can go home, right? And I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? Where's Dreamtown? Like, why he being mad secretive? He's like, yeah, just go to Dreamtown, bro. I'm like, what is Dreamtown? He's like, the corner, bro. Go in the corner. I said, there's 4 corners of where I'm at. Which corner do you want me to be on, bro? And he's like, which makes me sound like I'm a night walker. Yo! Nah, okay, anyways. So, I tell him, which corner you need me to be on, bro? That's so crazy. Pause. But he's like, yo, just the deli. Go to the Dreamtown Deli. And I'm like, oh, that's what he meant. So I hang up and I go over there waiting for him. I'm thinking he's about to show up, right? Man doesn't show up for like the next 10 minutes. So I'm just like, you know what? He's just going to have to find his own way home. He's handling his business over there with his friend. He's going to find his own way home. So I get ready to walk away. And Sam is she's getting upset. She's mad because she didn't drive out here. She Ubered all the way. She's like 20 minutes out and she Ubered all the way over here. So I'm just like, you know what? I get it. You upset. I'm mad too, bro. I'll just take you home and we'll call it a night. So we get ready to walk to my car and I'm limping a little bit because my arthritis is really killing me. What's really making my arthritis go bad is because I was wearing some dress shoes tonight and I need like some cushion, some comfortability in my feet so that way it doesn't mess up the joints of my knee. And so she's like asking like, well, where's your car at then? Where's your car? I'm like, my car's just around the block. And she was just like, where at? I'm like, around the block. And she's like, in that parking lot? I said, no, around the block. I'm like, bro, like now you're just not listening, right? So we get around the block and we're walking. So I start my car because it has a remote starter. So that way the AC's already working. I can get in my car. And I'm a little hungry because I had bought me a chopped cheese earlier from the same deli. And I got me a cranberry juice. And you know, if y'all know me, y'all know I love my cranberry juice. We walk up to my car and she's like, is this your car? I'm like, yeah, this is my car right here. She's like, it's already started though. And I'm like, yeah, I had a remote starter. She's like, is anybody in your car? I was like, there's nobody in my car. It's just me. And she's like, so why the car already started? And I'm just like I said earlier, I have a remote starter. So I opened the door for her only to grab my sandwich because it was right on the floor. I didn't want her stepping on it. So I grabbed it and I picked it up and she's like, what is it? And I was like, oh, this is a chopped cheese. And she's like, what's a chopped cheese? Now you would think for somebody who's not from New York City, I'm from New York State, but we know what a chopped cheese is because we're, associated with New York City. They wouldn't know that. But this woman is born and raised in New York and she didn't know what a chopped cheese was. How, Sway? So I get in my car and she's like, can I see it? And so I just open it up a little bit and show her, what's there. And she's just like open it up some more. Like, I want to see some more. So, I open it up some more. I show her, a little bit more of it. I'm not trying to like show the whole thing, right? And she's like, no, open it all the way. So I go ahead and like, I open it halfway now, and now she can see it, and she's like, ooh, can I have some? And before I can even answer the question, she done already grabbed and took my sandwich. And I'm just like, yo. And she just starts like looking at it and just starts eating it, bro. And I was like, you know what? It's not that, I'm not opposed to breaking bread with nobody, okay? I'm not opposed to breaking bread. And I would have offered a piece that since she asked. But she really didn't ask. She just put it out there that she was about to take a half of my chopped cheese. So I'm just like, all right, put your address in my phone because I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to take her home and I'm not worried about nothing else right now. So she goes ahead, puts in the address, and we drive off. So as we're driving, we end up hitting this one street called Monroe Avenue. And as we're driving, she wants to get her phone paid. She wants to pay for her phone at the 7-Eleven. So she's like, oh, can you stop at the 7-Eleven? And I'm already knowing because it's like 3 in the morning now. I'm like, 7-Eleven is closed. Like over here, 7-Eleven is closed. I don't know about y'all, but it's not open 24/7. So we drive past one and she's like, there's another one on the same street. And I'm like, there's 2 7-Elevens on the same street, which I forgot there was. So I had to do a whole U-turn and drive back down because she was asking like, can we please go? Can we please go? Like, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm like, I'm just trying to get my phone paid. I'm like, you know what, bro? It is what it is. You got the money to pay for your phone. I guess the least I can do is just go back around just to make sure that it's like not closed. As soon as we start going down the road, she's like, hold on. You remember where I put my $20 at? Like, where did you leave? Where did you see me leave my $20? And I'm just like, $20? Like, I just met you. Like, I don't know where you had your money at. It's like, you sure you don't know where I put it? I'm like, no, I don't know you. Like, this is my first time meeting you. And she's like, okay, I can't find it. We can turn back around. I'm sorry. So I go ahead. I hit another corner, turn back around. I stop at the light, ready to turn left, right? Then she's like, oh, my bad. I found it in my phone. Can we still go? So I'm just like, yeah, we can still go. So I go ahead. I hit the corner, go down to the 7-Eleven, and it's closed. Like I thought. The other 7-Eleven is closed. I'm just like, all right, whatever. Let's just keep going. So I get ready to turn around and everything. I start driving down the streets, And she's like, oh yeah, look at this, look at this. This girl, while she was eating my sandwich, decided to put the sandwich in my car door, in the handle of my car door. And I looked and I see this and I'm like, yo, if you don't get this damn sandwich out of my car door. And she's like, oh, don't worry about it. I'm not gonna leave it in your car when I'm done. I'm just like that. You know what? Never mind. That's not what I meant. Never mind. So we keep driving. Next thing you know, the police are on the street because they're trying to get everybody off the block. It's 3 a.m. They want to go home. They don't want nobody lingering on the block, no loitering on the avenue. And so instead of, being like the cops they should be and get out the car and ask everybody to leave, they decide, why don't one cop take up the middle lane on the double yellow lines of the road, one cop take up the right side, and the other cop take up the up side of the left side of the damn road. So now we can't go nowhere because they want to be all up in the goddamn way. And then the car that's in front of me is too scary to go around the cop that gave it a little bit of space to go around. So I'm just sitting here like, bro, you cannot be serious right now. I'm on the block that bad stuff happened at. Popo is in the way, and motherfuckers has no etiquette right now in my car, and I'm ready to go home, and I still got to drive 15 minutes before I can even turn around and go home. So I'm just thinking like, all right, whatever, let's just get through this. And when you thought it couldn't get worse, it did. So an entire biker gang started driving up and down the street. Now I got traffic behind me from cars. I got biker gangs swerving around my car, going around the police, aggravating the police. And I'm just like, bruh, you cannot make this shit up. I'm just wondering, like, bro, am I just like meant to have games played on me? Is this what is just meant to happen to me? Is there something, like, there has to be something that's going on for me to be dealing with this on like this? It may not be every day. It may be once in a blue moon, once a week, once every other week. But the fact that it can happen this many times is insane. So eventually, the car in front of me finally decides to brave it, like, you know what I'm saying, become brave and drive around the damn police car. So I get around it and we start speeding off because I'm like, I'm tired of this. I'm ready to go home. So eventually, she starts ranting to me about my homie. She's like, oh, like, I really thought I was going to be able to meet him. I came all this way out here. We didn't get to see him. And I thought this man was a church-going man, a God-fearing man. I remember telling him this. He just bust out laughing. He's like, bro, what is she even talking about? I haven't even said nothing to her like that or anything whatsoever. Anything whatsoever. Because the thing is, the reason how he met this girl was at his job. And she came up and approached him. So we're wondering, like, what the hell's going on and why she's acting like this. Not to mention that this woman is almost 40 years old. What? So I'm just like, okay, whatever, you know what I mean? I'm like, I feel bad for you, whatever. I don't know his relationship with her yet. So at the time, I'm just like, cool beans, man. You know what I mean? I'm sorry that you got to deal with that, but hey, at least you're getting a ride home. You don't got to spend any more money. And she's like, yeah, I understand. I you know what I mean? Like, it's so bad. Like, he did you bad too. Like, he was down there. Like, now he didn't say anything to you and he up and left you. And I'm just like, I don't care because that means I don't got to take him home. I'm just ready to get out of here and go back to my house, right? And so as she finishes up what she's saying, she finishes my sandwich and she's like, oh, you're so nice. And she takes my cranberry juice, opens it without asking, and just starts drinking my cranberry juice. Now, I done said this earlier. I love cranberry juice. You know what I mean? I love cranberry juice. I love cranberry juice more than I love water. So when somebody who already took my sandwich, my chopped cheese, without asking, and then proceeds to go and take my cranberry, that's what really made me mad, was the cranberry juice. I haven't drunk anything in a minute. And you take my cranberry juice and start drinking. She didn't drink the whole thing, but she drunk my cranberry juice before I can even drink it. I don't even get the first sip. You serious, bro? I've been waiting in front. That cranberry juice was still cold. It was still cold. And I didn't even get to taste it. I didn't even get to taste it. So I'm just sitting here like, I cannot wait for this person to get out of my car. We finally get to her area, but she doesn't want me to park in front of her house. She wants me to park like a corner away so that way she can walk all the way. I don't know if she was worried that I was going to like turn into Ted Bundy and she pop up missing. Well, she already like, it was already good. Like, bro, it was already over from her. It was already over from her. Like, if that was what you were afraid of, it was already over. I already had the address saved in my phone because you put the address in there. I'm already in the area. It's pitch black. There's no street lights out here. So if I wanted to, it would have been over. We're not like that though. We're not like that though. Just saying, we're not like that though. We're not like that though. But anyways, she finally gets out and she's like, I don't even know if I have the key to my house. And I was just like, do you want me to make sure you get in? Like, I don't know. She's like, I should be fine, but if you catch me standing outside, that means I didn't get in. And I was like, all right, hopefully you get in, because I'm not hanging with you anymore. So she's like, thank you so much. It was great meeting you and everything. And just have a good night. I was like, all right, cool. Gets out of my car, and I could not wait to get home, man. Half of my sandwich is gone, and half of my cranberry juice is gone. But for some reason, on the way home, my body just kept telling me, do not drink this cranberry juice. Do not drink this cranberry juice. My body, not my brain, my body was just like, did not feel comfortable drinking after her. I couldn't tell you why. I'm not a germaphobe like that. So like, I'm not a stranger to like sharing food, sharing drinks with people. Well, not random people, but like people I knew. But even then, I'm just like, I'm never like, man, God made dirt don't hurt. You know what I'm saying? So I really was just not feeling it. Like, yo, it felt like I was in danger. Like, I could not drink that cranberry juice. I could not. And when I got home, I took the cranberry juice. Hold on. Oh my God. Oh, I'm sorry. I get myself together. I took the cranberry juice and I poured it out. That's the first time I ever had to do that. It's better be safe than sorry, bro. That's really ruined my night. Like, I really got I'm not even joking. When I poured it out, I started getting a little emotional. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I think I was on my period that night, because there should be no reason why I'm over here about to cry over like spilled cranberry juice. So, like, that really hurt me above everything else, was just having I'm not even being able to drink the cranberry juice. I had to just like go back to drinking water. And who wants to do that? But yeah, that was my night, y'all. So these are just some of the random situations I ended up in. The homie told me after about her and him not really knowing her like that, and then she still proceeded to call him 10 times when she got in her house, and he did not answer her, and she started texting him saying like, I thought you were different and blah blah blah, and just like spamming him, and then she was like, I guess I'll leave you alone, which I'm like, hey, that's a blessing, man. That is a blessing. Pray that she never walks into his job ever again. Pray that I never have to come across her ever again. Stay your old ass in the house. I'm sorry, but after all that, bro, it was just like, I'm probably never gonna offer somebody a ride again like that I really don't know. Okay, and the fact that my sandwich was taken without consent, my cranberry juice. You will rue the day. You know what I'm saying? You will rue the day for that one. Man, we slide for cranberry juice. And we slide for Cory. Nah. You thought I was done? No, we're not done. Tell why. For those who do not know who Cory Kenshin is, the GOAT. Cory Kenshin is one of the greatest, most entertaining, and most dedicated. Okay, maybe not dedicated, but one of the greatest YouTubers to grace the platform. Glazing all glaze needed. The way I glaze LeBron is the way I'll glaze Cory Kenshin. But jokes aside, this man is currently not uploading. He's on, I guess he's on vacation. I don't know his life like that, but I guess he was on vacation, and out of nowhere, an ex-girlfriend or an ex-friend or a friend with benefits came out and just started saying that Cory Kenshin and her dated and he hurt her really bad, and she just posted messages of it making it seem like he only used her for his own personal gain. He only used her for his own pleasure, and then left it up in the air if he actually did something to her against her own will. And while the video that insinuated that was completely a joke, it was not real. It was obviously blatant sarcasm and dark humor that they both found funny. But the rest of Twitter and some people on TikTok or whoever these new samurai fans are, who are probably not real fans and probably should be cut down, seppuku'd or whatever, they are blowing this way out of proportion. And at first, you don't want to be that person to deny somebody or deny an allegation, but I decided to do my own research and due diligence, how everybody should. And I sat and I read all, over 100 posts that she had, like just like words, like what did she have, like paragraphs or something like that. It was over in total, all the pictures total up to about 100 plus the screenshots that she alleged that was evidence against him, right? And when I got done, it was the biggest waste of my time. She's complaining about nothing. If he was a manipulative ex-boyfriend or something, oh well, congratulations, welcome to the rest of the world, okay? He wasn't abusive, he didn't physically harm you. You're alleging that he manipulated you and used him for his own pleasure and didn't care about you, which was completely false, because the messages that you posted, there was like 4 screenshots of messages on like what, Xbox or Discord, and it wasn't even his actual name. I knew something was off because his name is Cory X Kenshin. So how is it Cory space Kenshin 2? I don't get it. I don't get it. That's not his name. And then his fans wrote crazy. Pause. They found out that whole that profile that she was saying that was Cory, that was just talking about using her or whatever, that whole profile was fake, and it was created that same weekend. And then the other screenshot that alleged that he didn't care about her getting cancer didn't even have his name in the text, but somehow people believed it. It's just screenshotted and it's just cropped to a message that allegedly he sent. Like, are you serious right now? This was one of the craziest things ever, and in 24 hours, we all just cleared this man's name. And I got mad because I done already had that Saturday, which I didn't get home till 4, and now it's 3 in the morning the next night. And I'm sitting here thinking like, wow, this man's never going to upload ever again, thanks to you. Thanks to y'all. I'm never going to see them 100 uploads. I'm never going to. I don't even fiend over him having over videos. If he stopped uploading now, I wouldn't be mad. Well, prior to this and prior to the situation before, I wouldn't have been mad because he done already done so much and he puts so much effort into editing videos. If you guys haven't edited a video, bro, I've edited videos that are 2 minutes. That were 2 minutes that took me 30 minutes to do. Now imagine doing a video that was like a 3 to 4 hour recording, and you decide to turn it into an hour, 30 minutes or less. And that's just for one video. So this whole fiasco that went down was strictly for attention. And she even came out and said she faked and edited those DMs between them. And it's really all for attention. And then like she had to clear the air saying that he never assaulted her. He never what's the word? SA. He never SA'd her. She had to come out and clear that one up because people were already saying that. But you made it seem like it, whether you intended to or not, by having all the clips out there out of context of him saying something that's just like dark humor-ish, which people for some reason, especially on Twitter, forgot what dark humor is. It's like there's no winning on Twitter. It's like, and I don't even use it like that, but you either are a super social justice warrior, I haven't heard that word in a long time, or like you have some of the worst or the darkest of dark humor. Like you're the absolutely most racist, you're absolutely most anti-Semitic, most what's it called, misogynistic, xenophobic person ever, or you're straight up just like clout chasing, like, or like you're just straight up like what's the word, virtue signaling. And it's just like, bro, she's making it harder for women to come forward about these things that actually happen to them. And that's one of the things that made me mad outside of it being at Cory, because this man doesn't do anything wrong. Out of all the creators, this man does not do anything wrong. And even if this man was the person to be a manipulative ex, I would not care. That's none of my business. Like one of the craziest claims was that he's not humble. He's very braggadocious. He brags about how much money he makes. And I'm like, that I know that didn't sound like him. I don't know him personally, but I know that doesn't sound like him. Because this man flex like gold chains. This man flex ice diamonds. No, this man is just in his room. He's still got the same afro. Man, don't even got like a low taper fade, bro. Like, and you're telling me this man is lying about being humble? Like, it was just a whole bunch of nothing. My time has been wasted. I can't get that time back because of you. And if this man comes back and he doesn't upload, if I was him, I wouldn't even come back and say nothing. I would just go back to making videos as normal. I would. And I'm going to put this out there. You know, when we make it, when we get up there even more, we're going to have haters. I even got a friend. I have a screenshot. My friend told me that once I blow up, he's going to put out very strong accusations out against me. He just know. He's going to put out very strong accusations about me out there. So just so y'all know. But if it's ever something like that, I'm gonna be the first person. Like, I'm the type of person, if I got an accusation like that, I'm gonna repost it and say, when did this happen? I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, the lawyer said be quiet because, you know, you gotta, you know, what's the court of public opinion? I'll be like, listen, bro, when did this happen? I need date and time. Please show me the messages. Oh, word, I did this. I'm sorry you thought I did this to you, but this ain't funny. Like, I would straight up I would keep the ball rolling. If it's nothing that's as bad as what she alleged, if it was just like the being manipulative, I would just make a reel or a TikTok about it. Not explaining myself, just doubling down on it, just being funny. Just to be funny, just to show that I know this junk is fake. I'm going to treat it like it's nothing. Is people going to see it as that? No. But do I care? No. These people didn't care to do their due diligence and read those screenshots. These people didn't care to do their due diligence and ask, why did this happen? These people cared. That's the problem. When it came to what was she alleging that he was a toxic ex, they cared. Why do you care? Out of all the things that people have done to each other, why do you care? Why did you care about that? She didn't say he harmed her. She didn't abuse him. He didn't abuse her. No, you know what I'm saying? He just wanted to crack some. And y'all mad at that. Mad at what most of y'all do. Mad at what mostly is seen on Twitter. On how to get the most out of somebody. On how to get the most money. Or how to get the most hoes. But when he's alleged at doing it with no proof other than a few, you had a whole relationship, apparently a whole relationship with this dude. And you're telling me you got 4 screenshots on Xbox or was it Discord? You got 4 screenshots on Discord? 4 of them? That's supposed to be years ago, right? And you know what's crazy? They dated or allegedly dated 8 years ago. This would have happened 8 years ago. This didn't even happen in the last year. The last 2 years. This happened 8 years ago. People are weird. And I want us to recognize that. People need mental help. This is all for clout. This was all for clout. And you caused a whole uproar and y'all bought into it. And that's the issue. If the masses can stop buying into clown, stupid behavior, if people could actually take the time to sit and read because if it was you in this situation, you would want people to at least do their due diligence and do some research. Or at least ask themselves, is this even worth my time? Is someone actually getting hurt here? No. So for Cory, man, if you see this, bro, I'm just letting you know, bro. Enjoy your vacation, bro. I'm sorry you had to go through this. Enjoy your vacation, bro. Enjoy your vacation, bro. Listen, bro. I feel for you. You know what I'm saying? I got empathy. You know what I'm saying? Keep that manga going. Don't quit that manga, though. I'm gonna get my book soon. But after all that, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode. I know it has been a long time since the last time I uploaded. I've been balancing work, school, and this right now, and I gotta do better with the time management. But we'll be looking more into quicker or faster or content that's like still within the name and the brand, but we'll be looking to like more reactionary content. We'll be looking more clips content, more thought-provoking content, more funny content, more skit content. We'll be looking into more stuff like that. But until next time, this is Bright Knight signing out for the one time. Peace.